Hello, class. I hope you're all doing well. I just wanted to touch base with you all before we started this week and just talk about a few things that we're going to be going over. Mostly, it's going to be continuing with what we were doing with the proportional drawing as we move forward and adding something called cross contour lines to them. Now, what you've been working on primarily has been just the contour lines, which are more straightforward and descriptive lines that define more the edges of things. And cross contour lines is going to be a bridge before we get into real value and shading and tone very soon. But this is sort of a good bridge between those two. So let me show you a couple images quickly, and we can talk about them for 1 second. So the cross contour lines, they're describing the object's details between the edges of it. And this is a good example of an ink drawing of an apple. And you can see that, this isn't something that is a naturalistic looking drawing, but it's almost like a computer rendering a wireframe of the drawing. And it works really in exactly the same way. So it's showing us, it's almost mapping the full structure of an object as we look at it. So whereas contour lines really define sort of edges and edges of planes, the cross contour lines in this case move from side to side across the objects and explores all the sort of dips and swells that you see even in the human face. It's very much like a topographical map of mountains. And that's why these type of drawings can be really fascinating and really enriching to look at. The more detail you go into, the more exciting the drawing is to look at. So the cross contour lines can also go vertical and diagonal. The only rule is to stick with the function of them, which is to use line to describe form, almost in like I was mentioning, in like a computer, a wireframe sort of drawing. Another good example in this case of ink, in showing, in organic objects like apples, the excitement is in the small sort of shifts being organic. They're not perfectly symmetrical. So all the small details that you notice really add up to a really good drawing if you notice the small sort of dips and swells in the sides of those apples. And this is, literally a wireframe computer sort of rendering of a chainsaw, but it really is very much exactly the same. And in this case, it's a man-made object, so the pieces are symmetrical. Many of them are flat, but it really works the same whether the objects are man-made or whether they're organic. You're describing form. And really a good way to think of the function that these lines give you is it really shows, particularly in rounded and organic objects, how those objects turn in space. And that gives you a feeling of real volume and dimensionality. So like in this, for example, this self-portrait by a student, it's those lines obviously are not present literally on the face, but those lines very much accurately are describing the form of the human face, and that face in particular. These are good examples of some studies and still lives that a student's done of bell peppers, squash, pumpkins. These all are really good forms to draw with this type of cross contour line because they're sort of big, full shapes that lend themselves to making an exciting drawing. So I just wanted to quickly, talk with you guys about that and look over the next couple pages, and that describes the assignments. And as always, feel free to get a hold of me at any time. I'm very happy to talk with you guys on Conf or Zoom, or just email me. And I'm going through your latest drawings, and I'll try to get those back to you with comments in the next couple days. Okay, so again, I hope you're doing great, and I'll look forward to hearing from you guys soon.